Fewer hitting errors, fewer passing errors, fewer serving errors. And for Hawaii, more out of the same. Minor tweaks in offense and defense. The biggest challenge, though, will be preparing for a much better Rambler team.
It will be Louis Sakanoko, who had the final kill last night, who will have the first serve here on night 2. And we're playing volleyball under the Friday night lights here in the arena. And that one is put down, soaring high above the net was the middle Aiden Klein, 6'9" junior from Evanston, Illinois. Touches well over 12 feet, as evidenced by that first put down. The Hawaiian Financial FCU starting lineup scrolling at the bottom of your screen. Big change for Hawaii. Ofek Hazan, the 6'6" sophomore from Israel, getting the start in place of Travell Jordan, as Christian Tatriski is blocked. And then the set to Hazan. Good layout saved by the libero J.J. Soa. And then Daniel Fabikovic is rejected, and it is Ofek Hazan getting the chunk of that, jumping up next to Tread Rosenthal.
I guess the middles don't drop off that much, huh, Kanoa? Travell Jordan out tonight with a bit of a injury, and he'll be back, though. But meantime, Hazan steps right in and picks up a really good block.
They got 5 middles on the roster. And so showing off a little bit of that depth here on night 2. Here's the tip, Alexander Sosa. The pancake save by Louis Sakanoko was for naught. So Hawaii was not able to forge the return, and Sosa gets the kill. He had 9 kills, but also had 7 errors last night. Hit a .111. He's the 6'8" junior from Serbia, transfer from Quincy, where he was a second-team All-MIVA selection last year. Preseason pick coming into this season. Back row, here's Louis, blocked and roofed. And that time it was the other middle, Brad Bell, the 6'9" senior from Salem, Wisconsin, jumping up next to Fabikovic. And just like that, Loyola Chicago up 3-1. Already a better start here in set 1.
Absolutely.
By a long shot compared to last night. Outside, here is Adrian Rohr, and he's able to rip it through the hands and down. The sophomore from Lyon, France. How good has this guy been so far through 3 matches? He's hitting .525 on the year.
That's unbelievable numbers. For a guy playing his position, he's hitting like .350. It's a huge year.
And just crept over the net, over pass, but unable to put it down that time was Justin Todd. Roll shot, the dig there by Quentin Greenidge. Hawaii on the attack. Oh, the behind-the-head middle set to Todd was a little low, and Todd wasn't able to execute full extension on it, and he sends it long.
The idea was right. Todd had a pretty clean net to look at, but just, I think the set was a little bit too low.
Shane Davis in his 14th season, second time through, though, as head coach of Loyola Chicago, the winningest head coach in Ramblers history. He took over once again last year. His first stint went 12 years. He took over the job when he was 23 years of age, and all he did was, while learning on the fly, lead them to back-to-back national championships in 2014 and 2015. He coached Northwestern on the women's side for 8 years before returning back to Chicago. Diving save there by Rosenthal. Greenidge sets up Sakanoko. Did he get a piece of the block? Yes, he did. And so Louis, who committed his first hitting error of the season last night, got blocked moments ago, but he's able to scratch one in the kill column here early on in set 1 tonight. Charlie Wade in year number 17 here, as his team ranked 2nd in the ABCA poll to start the season. Outside, here's Sosa, hits it long. Oh, they're going to say that, yeah, no, they are going to uphold the call. It is long. And Sosa, who had several of those last night, just a little bit off in terms of the calibration, commits the hitting error. Hawaii jumps ahead.
I expect he'll make fewer of those hitting errors tonight.
Fabikovic sets up Sosa cross court. The tip right there was Rosenthal. So Rohr sets up his fellow Frenchman, Louis Sakanoko, and Sakanoko goes off the hands and down, and the French connection comes through there on assist to kill.
Notice that Louis saw 3 blockers up, so he chose not to try to hammer it through them, but to just hit off the edge of the block, and you got a kill with hitting half the speed.
That service error ends what was a 4-point run for Hawaii, and Adrian Rohr letting out a smile as some of his front row players perhaps saw part of their lives flash in front of them. Here's Daniel Fabikovich, junior from Czech Republic. How good has this guy been in his career? Against the grain set. Christian Tatriski demolishes it. He has hit double figures in kills every match so far this season. 11 more last night. That's now 20 double-figure kill matches through 26 in his career.
He's a 6'8", touches close to 12 feet, got a whip of an arm. And Charlie Wade describes him as a freak of nature who hits the ball harder than anybody on the planet.
Joust above the tape, it rolls back over onto the Hawaii side. Backside, here's Tatriski down the line and wide. He had two blockers in front of him, but the block fully formed. Maybe a missed opportunity there for Christian.
He just bit off a little more than he could chew there.
So now Brad Bell, in his 4th year with the Ramblers program, serves it down the line. Greenwich takes on the pass. Here's Tatriski again, and he's able to tool the block. Jake Reed presented the opposition there. Jake Reed getting the start in place of Bryce Robbins here this evening. Reed, the 6'4" junior from Newport Beach, California. A little bit more of the established passer. And so with some of the issues in serve receive last night against Hawaii, Shane Davis wanting to bolster that part of the game. Here's the tip by Sosa, and it finds the floor.
Much better choice by Sosa that time to rather be in his avoidance hitting mode. He chooses to keep the ball in play. I think he's going to do a lot more of that tonight rather than trying to hit the ball around the block.
Pass by Rohr, that pulls tread off of the net, sets up Sakanoko, and he goes over the block and down.
Did you see Louis? He does the over the head move there, saying, yeah, I can jump high, I can go over the block. Take a look at it right here, see if he goes over. Yeah, he goes over the block and down.
He also had one of the more thunderous service aces last night. See what he does here. 9 serving 7 in set 1. Rolls it over. Good pass there by Fabi. They go D set. Sosa cross court and in.
I'll tell you, if Sosa gets going, Hawaii is going to be in trouble because last night Hawaii counted on him missing a lot by avoiding the block. This time he keeps it in play, avoids the block nicely. Just didn't cut it. He just didn't hit quite as hard as he was last night.
Good pass that time by Rohr. Here's the middle to Ofek Hazan, and he goes off the block and down. Yeah, getting back to Alexander Sosa, you know, this is a guy who has, despite his accolades while with Quincy, fellow MIVA program, comes over to Loyola Chicago, and he has to make the adjustment to the tempo with which the Ramblers play. And so last night on night 1, some of the timing maybe still a work in progress. Rosenthal able to slow that one down on the block. Diving save Hazan, but then the second touch winds up out of play. So that negates what was a heck of an effort there by the 6'6" middle.
Back to Sosa, I agree with you, on him having to get used to a different tempo and style of play. It may take him a few games to get used to it, and clearly he's got the offensive firepower to do it. It's a matter of getting that connection going between his center and him.
5 returning starters from a team that won 25 matches and won the MIVA for the 4th time in program history on this Rambler roster. Good reaction time there by Rosenthal. Bump set to Tatriski from off the net. Got blocked. Rosenthal able to keep it up. Here's Sakanoko from the back row. Dug up there by Soa. Back row, and that is Reed, and he is able to find the sideline. So a good rally that time, but the 6'4" junior swinger from Newport Beach, California, had the goods.
I'd be surprised if Loyola, who's passing really well right now, doesn't go more to the middle. The middles hit 0 last night, but I think it would be very important for them to be more effective tonight.
Rosenthal sends it out to Tatriski, and that was a little tight to the pin, so Tatriski had to resort to the left-handed attempt, and he got smothered there, and we're tied for the 3rd time here in set 1.
Tatriski much more comfortable on the right side or hitting the D-ball, that's for sure.
Well, you're hitting 176 here in the first, 214 on the other side for Loyola Chicago. And this is going to come towards us. And that is a service ace. And the Ramblers take the lead. So the crowd trying to urge this Hawaii team on. Ryan McElligott, the senior setter. That one handcuffed Roar a little bit. So Hawaii scrambling to Treesky. Unable to get it past the resistance. And the Blurs, in a blur, have scored 4 in a row. And that's going to force a timeout by Charles.
Jitters are gone.
13-7-11 out of the timeout, and another ace there by McElligott. He had 32 aces last year, was an all-MIVA first-team selection, led the league in assists per set. And that was nasty down the line.
Reminds me a lot of Hawaii's Finn Kearney in the way he moves that ball around as a lefty.
And that even provided some trouble for Greenwich. Sakanoko sends it across half-heartedly. Cross court set. This is Sosa. Rolls it over the block. Pancake save, Greenwich. But nobody able to get up. Hawaii did not give up any aces last night. In fact, they only had given up 2 aces through 3 matches this season. And there's another one. 3 of a kind here on this service run for McElligott.
You know what's really good about his serving? He's got the wide fan. He can go right down the line, right where he's hitting from now, or he can go deep cross court. Very versatile. First time this year that we have seen Hawaii this befuddled in serve receive. Backside, here's Roar. They need it. Goes off the hand. Sliding save. Soa keeps it alive. Here's Sosa, and he lights it aflame. And the Ramblers. 17-7-11 in the first. Sakanoko, that's an overpass, but a net violation is going to bail Hawaii out. And the crowd applauds the effort by the Hawaii team to get out of that rotation, but I think they're also kind of applauding the effort of Ryan McElligott. Absolutely. He had quite a run there, reminiscent of Justin Todd's runs last night. That's an overpass, a little joust above the tape. And it's going to be a Hawaii point. It's going to be a back row attacker violation. And so Hawaii gets back-to-back points, and they're going to have to score in some bunches to get back into this first frame. Here's Roar. Makes sure he gets it in that time. Fabikovich, the pass, gets the set on the opposite side. Punched up in the air by Rosenthal. So Tatrisky sets up Louis, pushes it deep and down. How did he see that? And now Loyola Chicago signals for a timeout. This is like Tatrisky's shot last night, going to the hot corner. Almost hits both lines, gets just inside the back line. What a smart shot by Louis. Yeah, just the creativity of Louis Sakanoko. He is a high-flying artist out there on the Terraflex. Let's check in with Ryan Kalei-Suji. Ryan, what you got for us?
Hey, thanks, Kono. Well, this first set really has become this battle of rotation one. Hawaii was just in rotation one during that last scoring run for the Ramblers with Adrian Roar on that right side. Yeah, Hawaii actually had to move to a 4 passing pattern, moving Chatritsky back. And now the Ramblers themselves, with Adrian Roar serving, find themselves also stuck in rotation one. A rotation that sometimes can be tricky with your 0-1 on the right and your opposite on the left. And so right now, the Ramblers really just trying to find a way to get out of this. The one thing that Charlie Wade is trying to preach to his team is just to be more aggressive on the passing. We saw at times balls falling between players, and that really was something that Charlie Wade was really adamant about, getting his players to be more aggressive on the pass and not necessarily relying on their platform to get the ball. He wants his team to do a better job of getting in front of that, moving forward in the passing department. Back over to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. We had not seen Hawaii taking a task in serve receive like that yet. Obviously this very young season, but yet through 3+ matches.
Exactly, and them having to move to a 4-person passing formation, also something we haven't seen this year.
So Hawaii rips off the next 3 points. They trail by 3. And Adrian Roar gets ready. Last time Hawaii has lost in a January match was against this Loyola Chicago team back in 2024. Bump set here, Sosa blocked and roofed. across, and it was Justin Todd setting up the tent pole in the middle.
So interesting tonight is such a game of streaks.
It's 4 in a row. Back row, dug up over the net by Rohr. How did he do that? Ramblers on the attack. Here is Fabikovich. Hawaii keeps it off the floor. The dig by Greenwich. Backside, Fabikovich, the tip. Diving save, Greenwich again. Backside to Trinsky. Gets the point.
What a point. Filled with great defense. I think Rohr's dig was the best one. Although Greenwich's was pretty good too, but Trisky finishing. But the first dig by Rohr, how did he get that one? Popped off his chest, I think.
That's what these people show up for, plays like that. Meanwhile, Alexander Sosa able to quiet the environment just a tad there with that ricochet kill. But that was some magnificent high-level volleyball, as we were expecting with 2 top 10 teams in the house. 18 serving 16. Good pass that time by Rohr. Outside, here's Louis, blocked and roofed. And Sosa was able to set the edge on that one.
Sosa having quite the night. And 7 kills already, and he was in on that block.
Loyola Chicago by 3. Here's the middle. This is Justin Todd depositing it. And so Hawaii hanging tough here.
This is something I know Hawaii has for a strategy tonight. Feed the middles more. They were playing well last night, but just didn't get fed enough. Tonight I sense that they will get more sets, make it easier on the outside hitters, having the middle blockers getting out there and forming an early block. Now if the middles are attacking more, we'll keep them more honest.
And Bernie in to serve. Pass there by Soa. Back row, Fabikovich. Look out, some high cheddar in the direction of Trent Rosenthal.
Great first pass that time from libero JJ Soa. It allows Bobby to do his thing, hitting the pick out of the back row.
That is the first kill of this match for Fabikovich. Here's Lucas Anderson. Service sub for the Ramblers. Here is Hazan. Bounces it off of the floor.
He's so happy he's getting a chance to play tonight. He's taking the place of Travell Jordan, who's on the sideline injured.
Hazan hitting 250 through 3 sets prior to tonight. Petrisky on the serve. Outside, this is Reed. And again, that quick tempo, effective on that occasion, setting up that one-on-one battle, and Reed was able to win it.
Reed at 6'4", going up against the 6'11" Trent Rosenthal. That time, Reed won that battle.
So here is Sosa to serve. And it's out. Hawaii could use a little bit of help here. Down 2, about to make this final turn here in set 1. Largest lead for the Ramblers was 6. And Hawaii was able to fight back. Louis Sakanoko to serve.
He went for the heat.
Got it in, but what a pass by Fabi. Sosa blocked. Soa the cover. Outside, Reed rolls it down the line to Trisky with the sliding save. Outside, it's Rohr, the tip. And it's kept alive until Shred finishes the deal.
How about Trisky playing some floor defense? Giving up his body on that play. Tonight, they just fired the ball to the pins, making it really difficult with Hawaii's middle blocker.
Louis went for it again and hits it into the string. He was able to get that first heater in. What do you think about the decision to unload again on that second try?
I would prefer a little roll shot there or something, because he does hit the roll shot well.
Here's by 2. Sakanoko handles that serve. D set. This is Petrisky. And how about that for some artistry?
What a smart shot by Christian Petrisky. That time there was really only furthest that he could put it, that was the middle of the floor.
And into the match comes Kainoa Wade. He served the last 5 points in the third last night to close the deal. Had 2 aces in that run. They could use some of that juju right now. 21 serving 22. Down the line, and he delivers.
Is that the juju you were talking about, Kainoa? Oh, man.
Ace in your face. We are tied at 22. Another great one. Tight to the net, pushed over. Wade with the save. Over on 2 goes Rosenthal, but Loyola Chicago now on the attack. Sosa down the line, and that was ferocious. And the Ramblers jump in front.
What another great shot by Sosa down the line. He's just having such a much better night. Last night, a disastrous night where he had so many errors on the night. He had
7 errors.
A total of 7. There were only 9 kills to go along with it. Tonight, 8 kills, 2 errors, hitting 500.
A different story here in the first. He has come out with a purpose. Pass there by Louis. Middle set. Todd straight down to the floor, and we are knotted at 23. It's a race to 2 here for set 1.
This is what these players play for. They play games from 20 all in practice all the time.
And no timeouts left on either side here. And it's an out serve by Rosenthal. He went with the jump float. And that gives Loyola Chicago set point.
There's an example of Tread serving heater, 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 roll shot, roll shot. Has not served the floor, and I don't know how long.
And so here is Ryan McElligott, who has 3 aces in this first set to serve Aloha ball. And it is another ace. 4 of a kind for Ryan McElligott.